Hey, I want to tell you about a new mini course that I have. It's called the 5 Minute Shift. One of the most frequent questions that I get from people on social media and clients is, how do I stop feeling anxious? How do I stop feeling upset? How do I stop feeling angry at my spouse? How do I stop feeling a certain way and get to something that feels better? This mini course is to answer that question. It's a 30-minute video. You get a cheat sheet and the slides, plus a Q&A and a why this works video. But really all you need is the 30-minute video, the how-to. It's a process I use every single day, multiple times a day. I have clients who use it and have experienced huge changes in their life. And if you practice this method over and over again, I promise you'll be able to shift any emotion in around 90 seconds to about 5 minutes. So if you're somebody who feels like you get stuck in emotions, you stew in emotions, you spiral in them, and you really wish that you could get out of them and it didn't involve scrolling or eating or shopping or any of that, this is for you. It's $29. There's a link in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Calmer Conversations, the podcast where you learn how to help your brain become a calmer place to be so that it's easier to feel exactly how you want to feel in your daily life. Whether that's feeling calm and confident, content, or even joyful, or just like you've done enough of the right things at the end of the day, or all of the above. I'm Cecilia Mandrick. I'm a certified life coach, yoga therapist, and founder of the Calm Brain Academy. If you're ready to shift the patterns of self-sabotage, procrastination, daily overwhelm, people-pleasing, and perfectionism, you're in the right place. Not only is it possible to change the conversation between your brain and your body, when you do, you'll change your life in the process. And you're one step closer just by joining me today. Ready? Let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to Calmer Conversations. I'm Cecilia, your host. Today, we're going to talk about the things you tell yourself that really matter. And I'm specifically going to talk about waking up early in the morning. If you're watching this live, or not even live, I don't do this live, but if you're watching it, I want to let you know that I'm kind of bouncing up and down. And I'm doing that because I've tried to record this episode 3 times and I have a baby on me, and I'm trying to get her back to sleep. So that's just real life. If you're listening to this, hopefully the audio isn't really impacted, but I just want to let you know that that's what's happening. And so I'm bouncing up and down on my ball. And this is going to be another sort of short and sweet episode. This was something I taught a class last week to a group that I normally am not around. And this came up for somebody in terms of the change that they were trying to make. So this was a changing habits course using mindfulness and mindset to change habits rather than willpower or habit trackers or habit stacking or any of that kind of stuff, which is kind of my, it's one of my sweet spots. And I'm teaching a class on it probably next week, actually, if you're listening when this is going to be edited. So I'll make sure that there's a link included that you can join it. It'll be free, probably about an hour or 2 hours. And I can tell you exactly when it's going to be, actually. So we'll do it on Monday, the 27th. And if you can't make it live, I'll probably do it at about 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you can't make it live, no problem. If you sign up, you'll get the replay. Okay. So we have the baby. And if you like the sounds, I'm glad you like the sounds. And if not, hopefully she'll move back into sleep mode in just a second. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about the thing you say to yourself when you first wake up in the morning. And I just want you to pause, like if you can, don't close your eyes if you're driving or walking, but just take a moment and ask yourself, what's the first thing I say to myself in the morning? And this is particularly if you have trouble waking up in the morning, or you find yourself snoozing, or you're, not going to work out when you want to work out, something like that. Okay. For most people, it's I'm tired, right? That's the first thing we say to ourselves when we wake up. And I want you right now, even if you don't say that, and even if you do say that, we're going to try another quick exercise. I want you to take a deep breath, maybe make a sigh or sound for the exhale. If you can, close your eyes or soften your gaze, maybe give yourself like a little bodily wiggle, do something like that, and see if you can kind of clear your brain. And then I want you to tell yourself, I'm tired. I'm so tired right now. I wish I'd gotten more sleep. Notice how when you tell yourself that, or just notice how you feel first. How do you feel in your body? And most of us, me included, when I tell myself I'm tired, I feel tired. Like I can actually feel tiredness in my eyes. I can feel my body slumping over. I can kind of look over at my bed and think that wish that I was in it right now. Telling yourself you're tired, whether it is true or not, actually brings up the feeling of tiredness for most of us. Sort of like if you tell yourself, I don't have enough time, whether that's true or not, actually makes people feel anxious, frantic, despondent, unmotivated, like they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, whatever it is, right? So what you say to yourself matters. I feel like we've established that, and we established that over and over again in these episodes, but the I'm tired one is so important. So this person in the course, one of the things they really wanted to be doing was waking up to exercise. But they found that most mornings they were hitting snooze. And it wasn't because they disliked the exercise. They actually loved going to the gym. They loved how they felt afterwards. They really liked the routine that they had kind of established for themselves once they got to the gym. But their problem was they felt tired all the time. Every single morning they felt tired. And when I asked a question, they really said that it didn't really matter how much sleep they got, right? If they got 8 hours of sleep or if they got 3 hours of sleep, they kind of still felt tired in the morning. So I asked them, what do they say to themselves? And they said, I'm tired. That's the first thing they say to themselves when they wake up. And this is an example of how to use this work, right? And obviously I was working a little bit with this person in this course, but one of the first things you want to do is observe that, right? So this person is noticing, I keep snoozing my alarm. That's the action they're taking, right? I'm snoozing, I'm sleeping in. So then from that point, we want to get curious and say, okay, well, what am I feeling or what am I saying to myself that I think is causing the snoozing? For them, it was this statement, I'm tired. And it was this feeling of tiredness, right? So if you feel tired and you're telling yourself you're tired and you're in a cozy bed already, it is very easy to hit snooze and go right back to sleep. This is also what your primitive brain wants you to do, because your primitive brain wants to conserve energy and keep you safe. And I know you know the gym isn't dangerous, but it is kind of hard and it's going to require you to do something. So there's a part of your brain that's kind of on board with the I'm tired story. Not to mention, if you've been telling yourself I'm tired in the morning for years, and let's admit this is kind of a societal story, right? I need my coffee to get going. I don't get enough sleep. Oh, I'm so tired. And it's I'm a parent, right? And every time I'm around people with my children, they say like, oh, you must be so tired, right? It's this thing that we talk about all the time. And I'll talk about my own tiredness in a minute if you want to listen to that. But it's a societal story we have being tired. And I want to start to challenge that. I want you to start to challenge that, not by gaslighting yourself, not by using toxic positivity, but you become aware of the story. You've noticed how it makes you feel. And then we're going to ask, is there anything else I could believe? So for this person, is there anything else you can believe in the morning? One of the things they could believe was that I feel great after I work out. They really love, like I said, they love going to the gym. They actually really enjoyed the workouts. So they could tell themselves that, but they didn't think that would really work in the moment. And I haven't followed up with them, so I don't know how this is going, by the way. But that didn't really feel so great. So we asked, okay, what's another thing that's true in the morning that you could pretty easily switch to? And the thing we came up with, and you might even pause this and see like if you can come up with something for yourself, but the thing that we came up for them was I'm alive, right? It's so simple and it's so true. And in fact, most people might argue on a lot of mornings, it's maybe more true than I'm tired, because so often we proclaim that I'm tired rather than asking, how does my body feel this morning, right? We don't even do a check-in. We just kind of like stamp I'm tired on ourselves as soon as we open our eyes, or even before we open our eyes, as soon as we hear the alarm. And this person, and this didn't take a lot of time, right? But the thing that sounded kind of great to them was I'm alive. It felt lighter. It felt more like there was more possibility in it. They really didn't think that they would snooze when they're saying I'm alive. Because if you say I'm alive, all of a sudden then you can ask, how do I feel this morning, right? And I'm a big fan of having some parameters around, getting up, and you could call them rules. But for instance, like if I have a fever, I'm not going to go to the gym, right? But by simply saying I'm alive and then checking in, they can actually notice, am I sick? Am I tired? How does my body feel? Are my kids healthy enough for me to leave the house? Whatever it is, right? But changing this one really, really small shift. I mean, most of us would argue that seems inconsequential. right? Instead of telling yourself I'm tired, telling yourself I'm alive first thing in the morning. But the result is, for a lot of people, and I know this because I've worked with other people on this, is that instead of snoozing their alarm, instead of having to use willpower to get themselves out of bed, all of a sudden they get up, right? Because they feel different. And this is kind of the proof in the pudding of what you tell yourself creates how you feel and creates the actions that you take. With something like I'm tired, it's so easy to see, right? I tell myself I'm tired. I feel tired. I feel lethargic. When I feel lethargic and tired, I pull the covers up and I hit snooze. When I tell myself I'm alive, I feel kind of open. I recognize wow, I'm alive this morning. That feels kind of good. Even if you're not going to that, maybe it doesn't feel great to you, but you're noticing something positive, right? And then from that space, then you're feeling differently. And oftentimes your actions are different. So like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a short and sweet one. If you tell yourself you're tired in the morning, I want you to try something else on for size. Maybe it's I'm alive. Maybe it's I can't wait to get started today. Maybe it's I'm really looking forward to seeing if Samantha's at the gym. Maybe it's whatever it is, right, for you. So see if you can make a really tiny change and make it so small that your brain thinks that's kind of silly, right? The I'm alive switch for most people feels like it's kind of silly. And then figure out how you're going to remind yourself of it in the moment. And it doesn't need to be when you get up. You can do this with other times during your day when you have some kind of habitual routine that you're in, with a combination between what you're thinking and what you're doing. But if you are someone who tells yourself you're tired in the morning, really just check in with this. And then because I am a new parent and a parent of several small children now, am I tired? And I'm going to go ahead and report that oftentimes I'm not, right? I don't get great sleep. My kids are pretty good sleepers, but I will say that I don't get great sleep. And still, I don't feel that tired most of the time. But I will tell you that several years ago, I stopped telling myself I was tired. I just didn't do it. Even if I had a couple hours sleep, I refused to engage in that I'm telling myself I'm tired. Again, not gaslighting myself or going into toxic positivity and not really ignoring things. So it's not that I never say that I'm tired, but that I would say my legs feel heavy, right? Or I might take it easy today. Things like that, different perspectives that had different feelings in my body. So play around with this. Again, this is an example of how making a really tiny switch in what you say and how you talk to yourself has a big impact on the rest of your day. And even if you don't make it to the gym, you're probably going to feel different if you start with I'm alive. I've heard that Jill Bolte Taylor, who I can't remember the name of her TED Talk right now, but it's a very popular TED Talk on having a stroke, because she had a stroke and she's a neuroscientist of some kind. And I think she, first thing in the morning, says thank you to her body, because by the time you've woken up, your body has already done thousands of things correctly to help you be alive and help you doing what you're doing. So just a different perspective in the morning. You don't have to change the amount of sleep you're getting, change how you talk to yourself and see what happens. And check the link for the habit course that's going to be happening on Monday the 27th. And I will see you then. Bye. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Calmer Conversations. Take what you learned today and use it in your life. Even if it feels a little awkward or clumsy at first, remember these are practices and that real change comes from implementation. Then send me a message over on Instagram or TikTok and let me know what worked or didn't work. If you want to dig deeper into something from today's episode, all of the resources can be found at the link below in the show notes. If you like this episode, there's a great chance that you'll love working with me. Join my monthly coaching community by visiting me on Instagram or my website, www.ceciliabmandrick.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts, and I'll see you back here next Thursday.